Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of The Road Home, a Chinese romance from 1999 that stars Zhang Ziyi, and it was directed by Zhang Yimou. This is the story of a country girl and a young teacher falling in love, and the teacher's death many years later that brings their son back from the big city for the funeral. And the film begins in black and white in present-day China, when the son returns to his village from the city upon hearing of his dad's death. His mother insists upon following the tradition of carrying the coffin back to their remote village by foot, so that the husband's spirit will remember its way home. As the narrator, the son recounts the story of his parents' courtship, so famous that it was gained the status of a legend in their village. It is here, the bleak black and white turns into vivid colors as the story shifts to the past. And as many of you know, Zhang Ziyi is a hugely popular actress. She was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Musa the Warrior, Hero, 2046, The House of Flying Daggers, and a number of other stuff, some of which were Hollywood productions. And then during the late 90s, by when the time this movie came out, she had appeared in like one made-for-television film, I think. But The Road Home is actually her feature film debut. And if you're a fan of hers and have not seen this, that's a reason to watch it. And to be honest, I think this could be her best performance, in my opinion. Her more popular roles usually involve like spunky characters with an attitude. But in The Road Home, she's actually very likable right from the start, and even a little bit reserved. And you can see a different side of her acting in this, which is pretty neat. Most of the interaction between the characters occurs through this girl's attempt to woo or seduce the male lead, who's a kid for like a young man from the city who comes into their town to teach the kids. And she tries to seduce him through innocent glances and savory foods. And so mannerisms in this film are heavily emphasized with less emphasis on dialogue. And the narration kind of fills in some of the details regarding the story, which kind of makes sense because 80% of the film is a flashback scene. The Road Home, I would say, is a fairly simplistic movie, but it's very engaging. There's an emotional element that's established early. The mother's very heartbroken about her husband's passing, so it sets you up for a nice love story, which the flashback delivers. I will admit that the ending has an effective emotional resonance to it. I did get a little bit teary-eyed near the end of this one, and perhaps that's because the movie is simplistic. It kind of avoids the, I guess you could say, the cynicism of like modern romantic relationships. It gives you more of like a traditional and hopeful interpretation of that type of thing. The cultural aspects and the countryside lifestyle, pretty fascinating too, especially the local beliefs and traditions. Is just the lifestyle itself. Like, there's one scene that, one of the most interesting scenes in the movie is someone breaks, like, a bowl, and they take it to this old man in his house, and he repairs the bowl, and they show how he repairs the bowl, and it was, like, really neat. It's just, like, old-school method of repairing a bowl, and when he started working on it, I'm like, how's this going to work? And you see kind of, like, the finished product, and it's like, wow, that's pretty neat, So it's like little stuff like that that's pretty cool, in addition to the just the general lifestyle stuff and then like the interaction between the leads. Now this director, of course, everybody knows this guy's got a spectacular visual style. Hero, to this day, is still one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen. Stylistically, this movie, like I mentioned earlier, it's kind of bookended by some black and white visuals near the beginning and the end that take place in the current day, the current day, which would be 1999. And then the flashback scene is just like blowing up with vivid colors. Excellent cinematography, like a lot of yellows and oranges, lots of grasslands, hills, and forests. The tree leaves really provide a lot of the color in the film. Fantastic brightness to them. The sunlight's nicely captured. It's just a beautiful flick. And the fact that it's bookended by the black and white stuff, like, makes the middle section pop even more. So yeah, it's not surprising given this director, right? But I know a lot of people are familiar with this director's more opulent, bigger budget films, but he's made he's made some really good stuff that's like not necessarily like that. You know, even if the film looks great, it's like this one's very low key, very simplistic. You know, there's no action or anything like that, but it's one of his best in my opinion. For newer subscribers, I do have a playlist of like top 10s from specific directors, and I plan on making more of those. It's just I haven't had as much time to do that lately, but I will get back to that. But I'll include a link to that playlist in the description box, and there is a video in that playlist for Zhang Yimou. And I give my, I think it was a top 10 list of his movies. So if you like this director and you want to check out more of his stuff, that's a nice little recommendation list for you. So, I mean, to summarize The Road Home, very nice traditional romance that's like gorgeous to look at. I strongly recommend it if that type of thing is up your alley. Currently available streaming on Amazon, as well as a Blu-ray release from Imprint. And as always, we'll see you next time.